So hey guys, what is up? Wow. Like I just didn't think that we could get better endings than we've had the past 2 weeks, but then they went and topped it again with last night's ending. So I really have no words. That's why this show is amazing. And I tweeted last night that no one can top How to Get Away with Murder on their endings for every single episode, which is crazy because every single episode's ending feels like a finale, and that's why this show is so awesome. So I know we have a few people in the room right now. I'm going to go ahead and say hey to you. Hey Deja, hey Mark, hey Kay, hey Brittany. I know Vanessa was here earlier, and maybe a couple other people. Georgie might be here. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming to tonight's chat. Andy's here, Tony's here. I'm sure all of you, because I've been talking to some of you here in the comments and then some of you on Twitter, but I don't think that anyone didn't like it. Pretty much every episode to me is good, and it's hard to find fault with it. So I was literally scared when I was watching the last few minutes of the episode because I knew that Wes probably wasn't in his apartment, and I knew that it was a bad sign, and I couldn't even look at the TV because I knew someone was going to jump out or whatever, and they ended up pulling her from, under the bed. So I thought that was just terrifying. I'm really glad that they've cleared up the Wes's mom storyline as far as the fact that he didn't murder her, which I know most of us thought he didn't do. So that is good news. And that was a very intense scene, very disturbing when she killed herself. But there's still more to that story because we don't know what her boss had been doing to her, because she was saying to Annalise, like, you don't know what he's capable of. So I'm not really sure what he had done to her in the past. Brittany just binge watched the entire series these past few days and is in love. That is so cool. And it's really one of those shows that I feel like you can watch like multiple episodes in a row because it's so good and you just want to know like what's going to happen in the next episode. So I'm not surprised. And Kay feels the same way, or she felt the same way last night. She couldn't look at the TV because it was so suspenseful and so scary in those last few minutes. Andy says, I initially didn't like the episode, but the actress who plays Rose says there is a reason why she killed herself. Honestly, for the most of the episode I felt was a little bit slow, but I think it was building up to a very dramatic ending where we had two super dramatic scenes. One where Annalise is being lured into Wes's apartment, and the other where we're replaying the scene of Wes's mom's suicide. So there is a reason why she killed herself. We still don't have all the answers to that story. I don't know what is the deal. There's something going on with her boss, the father of the defendant in that case back in the past 10 years ago. Mark says he freaked out when Rose stabbed herself. Rewatched it a few minutes ago and felt ill because it was so disturbing. Those final 5 minutes were incredible. It was really creepy, really, 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 what is the word for that? Just out there. That is not the right word, but it was just so like graphic. That's what it was. I mean, her death scene was so graphic. Now, as Tony is mentioning, something happened there with Annalise as well. She started to have some sort of issues with her pregnancy, it seemed like. I don't know if this is going to be a miscarriage or what. Something seemed to be going on where she was holding her stomach and she was kind of freaking out by that situation. So I'm not really sure exactly, but we're supposed to get those answers about her baby in next week's episode. Sadly, only 2 more episodes of this season. When they split the season up into halves, they do go by really fast. Hi, niece. Thanks for being here. Hi, Alex. Alex's first time here. Hopefully you can live chat. Of course. Thank you so much for being here. Love last night. Absolutely. It was so amazing. And I think that we've come to learn, even if there are some slower moments in the first half of the episode, we know we're going to get a fantastic ending every time. So there's really never any wasted episodes, I don't think. Deja wants to know if I believe Laurel when she told Frank that she didn't love him. No, and I actually believe him completely that he loves her completely. Sadly, he felt like if he told her like a dark secret of his, then that would kind of prove his love for her. But I do think she loves him, but I think her opinion has completely changed of him because knowing, he killed an innocent person. She feels like he's killed more people, which I think we all feel like that too, although he hasn't confessed to killing more people. But something we need to talk about along the Laurel and Frank lines is Bonnie and what WTF is up with her because she's creepy. She was listening in on their conversation. So if she didn't know before, she knows that Frank killed Lila, and then she was recording them the second time they had a conversation, which that is just not right. Something is definitely wrong. Alex says the show is not like Pretty Little Liars. Absolutely not. It's 1,000 times better. Yes, and great news that How to Get Away with Murder, Quantico, and Scandal were all renewed. So excellent. So Kay is saying, so when Bonnie was listening to Laurel and Frank, was this the first time? I believe that that is the first time she found out that Frank killed Lila. However, she kind of seems to know everything, so maybe I'm wrong. I feel very creepy about the fact that she was recording them with a device. That, to me, crosses the line. It was bad enough she was eavesdropping. Alex says, I was kind of betrayed when Laurel and Wes didn't last. Well, I mean, they may do more with that, but I think that was kind of like where they were trying to figure out if they were more than friends and they felt like that they weren't. But who knows, they could end up developing that into something more. Andre says, I'll kill myself if Frank kills Laurel if she tries to tell the truth. That would be incredibly disturbing, and I don't want Laurel off the show, so I'm really hoping they don't go there with this show because, wow, that would be just awful. So Mark is saying Philip wasn't in the bedroom, but the light was on in there. Maybe he's working with someone else who was in there. If he was on his own, the writers probably would have made Annalise open the door. So, ooh, creepy. So you think that there was someone behind that door, but Philip was hiding under the bed. Now, I still do not think that just because he was under the bed and he grabs Annalise, that makes him a serial killer, a crazy criminal, or guilty in the murder of his parents and aunt, which I guess his aunt is actually his mom. Okay, Caleb and Catherine's parents. I think still they're playing with this a little bit. I think that we still can't confirm that he is a criminal or whatever. I don't know what he was doing in there. He could have been searching for answers himself, but I still have a feeling that he is not the criminal they want us to believe he is. Okay. Do I think the Dr. West keeps going to will play a bigger role, says Kay. I haven't thought about that. Not at this point, but you just never know. They may do something with that. I'm not sure. Andy says Philip looked more desperate than a killer. Caleb is the killer. That's exactly what I am thinking about this show. I think that Caleb is our main villain. However, you know that they got a video of Caleb and Michaela kissing, so he has to have someone working with him. It can't be Catherine because she's in jail. It could be Philip. I've always thought it was Oliver. We kind of came up with that last week. Still could be right. Elias thinks that Bonnie is the one sending the videos. Well, we've seen proof that she likes to record people secretly, so who knows? She could definitely have some ulterior motives. Kay also thinks that Caleb is guilty. So Tony says, why didn't Philip just go to the cops? Like, why blackmail them? We still don't have proof that it is Philip who's sending these videos. That's the thing. It could be, that's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe he's a serial killer. He's this terrible person, especially with the ending of last night's episode. I do think there's a surprise in store for us there. Kink says this episode was so disappointing. They hyped it up like it was going to be super shocking. I think for most of the episode, I will give you that it was slow. Absolutely. I did not feel upset with it though, because I know how this show is and I knew we would get the payoff. As far as coming up, finding massive answers, not really, but I thought the ending was incredible with both scenes we had going on. The suicide scene was incredible. They answered the questions they promised they would answer. Who killed Wes's mom? We know, okay? Second, the scene with her in Wes's apartment, Annalise, I thought was freaking incredible. I had no issues with the ending. I thought the ending was very well done, very scary. We didn't find out some crazy information, but you have to understand we have 2 episodes left. I assume next week will be pretty intense and the finale will be crazy. That's what I think. So as far as this being the third from the finale, I don't think they needed to reveal a massive, massive piece of, information. That's what I think. So Andy says Bonnie's not in the videos. Asher is also not in the videos, but I don't think, because he made that statement that he wasn't in the videos, so they could spend the night at his house to be safe. I think the actors are great. I think Wes's mom, the person who played Wes's mom, was incredible. Hi, Esther. Thank you so much for being here. So Kink was hoping that Annalise killed Rose. I'm actually glad that she didn't because, wow, that would have been terrible. Ben hopes that Oliver has something to do with the videos. That would be an amazing twist. So I definitely think we have to consider another person, because if it is Philip, which I don't think, he's not working alone, okay? It can't be Catherine. She is in jail. It just can't be her. So it has to be Caleb, or it has to be an outside person, Bonnie, Oliver. Or Frank, as Andres is saying, what if Frank is sending the videos? What if he arrived very early? I'm sorry, possibly. The best character would be, in my opinion, Diana, is Annalise, because she just makes the show. They really wouldn't have a show without her. That's why I knew when they were pretending that she was going to die the first half of this season that there was just no way that she was going to die. If she does die, that will have to be for the end of the series. They can't keep doing the series without her. Kay says, I think it would be a cool twist if Asher had something to do with it. No one expects him because he's the underdog. That is true. That little prank that he pulled on them was pretty creepy too, because he made them think someone was in his house filming them while they were sleeping and thought that they were safe. And for a minute, I was like, oh my gosh, it's someone on the inside that is blackmailing them. So that was that was not good. I mean, it would make me totally upset if I were one of those people involved, but interesting. So there is going to be a major, major hookup. I think that they've teased it for next week. A very surprising hookup between two people. Deja thinks it's going to be Bonnie and Frank. With their scene in the bar, I could see the show going that way. Now, I don't know if they've had something going on before. It seems like they kind of might have. I don't know, kind of get that vibe. But I feel like Bonnie's probably had some things going on with a lot of different guys. Just my opinion. Yeah, the prank obviously is not going to be funny if you were one of those people. If you were Laurel, I would be so mad. But for me, as a viewer, it did trick me. And I thought for a minute, oh my gosh, one of these people is the blackmailer. So I think it was a very good, as a viewer, a very good trick on the viewer. Not a very good trick for those people who were actually there, because I would be so mad. Will the therapist get killed? I think the therapist is a side character who's not really important. I just think, in my opinion, I don't think they're going anywhere with that character. I just don't think anyone would care if she was killed or how that would help the story. But I could be wrong. I mean, she didn't really reveal anything to Wes. He kind of figured it out on his own. Actually, I don't know if he even knows at this point that he didn't kill his mom. Did he come to that realization? I'm not sure. Brittany was thanking Oliver when you were watching it. So you were thinking maybe Oliver was behind the prank or is behind the blackmailing. So Andy says, currently the motive for why Rose killed herself is weak, but we know nothing about Wes's dad. So I have made the theory or the guess that perhaps Wes's dad is the boss of Wes's mom. Now, I don't know because we haven't gotten any information along those lines, but we'll see. I don't know why Rose was so afraid of him. That's some information we also haven't been given, which I expect we will be eventually. So Brittany thinks Oliver was behind the blackmail because he was with them. That would be such a huge twist to me because we all love Oliver and he's a nice guy, and we don't expect that from him. And that's kind of why I thought it could be him, because it's, a lot of times in shows, it's the least likely person who's doing the really terrible stuff. So what will Philip do to Annalise? Well, I still don't know, Kink, if Philip is the actual villain here. He might have been snooping around in Wes's apartment for information, trying to protect himself or whatever, or maybe he's been fed incorrect information from Caleb or Catherine, and he dislikes Annalise and them for, not the correct reasons, or he's concerned because they knows that the police are looking for him, so he's trying to hide. I still am not believing that he is a super villain, murderer, all those things. I can't tell you if that's even true. I can't tell you if he's even killed one person, to be honest. So Annalise wrote a note to Wes and put it underneath the door, and I believe Philip or someone else in that apartment grabbed it. Now, I think she did that just to see if someone would take the note to see if she was right and see if Wes was in there. I'm not sure what she wrote on it. Maybe some information about his mom or that it actually was a suicide. I don't know. Andres thinks that they always think about how the show will end. All in jail, all dead. I think it's going to be so interesting, as much as it makes me sad, to see how this show will actually end for good one day. I expect something fabulous and probably crazy and not happy for an ending. Kay says maybe Philip wants him to stop lying about him and Catherine. I think he's just a red herring. Definitely think Philip is a red herring, a huge one, because this show is very, very smart and it's written very well and they do a great job with red herrings. Every show has to have red herrings, but you have to execute them in the correct way. I have no problem with them making him a red herring. I think by the end, I feel like we're going to, I'm pretty sure they've said we're going to wrap up that mystery of who killed the parents, who killed the aunt, and the whole Caleb and Catherine thing will be finished at the end of this season. I think we'll move on to a bigger crime story that will take over the whole season for season 3. That's kind of what I think, because that's what we have with season 1 with Sam and Lila. Niece is kind of disappointed that Rose actually killed herself, really thought she was murdered and was looking forward to knowing her killer. I'm with you. I really thought near the end of the episode that her boss had killed her, that he hired someone to kill her, something along those lines. So I thought it would be kind of more dramatic, but I've got to say, the scene of her death, the actual suicide, for us to watch that was so dramatic. I can't say anything bad about the show for that. That was crazy dramatic, probably one of the more crazy death scenes I've seen on primetime television. Not that we all needed to see that, but, you know, it wasn't a lame cop-out since they didn't have someone murder her. Deja wonders why Annalise left her door unlocked for Wes to get in. Did she do that on purpose? So I'm not really sure there, because he went to find some more answers of what had happened to his mom, and he was able to get in. Don't really know. That's a good question. Okay. So Gokai says, what do I think of your theory that Nate was using Philip? Do you think he is putting the blame on his sister and that he is actually the real killer of his parents? Now, I know some of you guys have thought that Nate was behind some of this. Now, we do know, again, he was in one of the videos, therefore there must be 2 people. I still think there has to be someone helping this person, whether it's Philip or Caleb or whoever. Just seems like it has to be with the amount of people that have been in the blackmail videos. Don't think they'll go there with Nate, but could be wrong. I don't really see him. I don't know what the motivation would be. I don't know if he's still mad at Annalise, if he's mad about, you know, he found out that the wife, you know, she had nothing to do with his wife dying or anything like that. She actually did the right thing in that situation. So I know she's caused him to lose his job. So I don't know. He claims he's over that. Maybe he's lying. I'm not sure. So Mark says the writer of the show confirmed that someone will die soon. So I'm guessing in the finale. I agree with you. I'm guessing that either Caleb or Oliver will be behind the videos and either will die. To be honest, I was looking at Wikipedia the other day. I don't really feel like this is a major spoiler. Well, I'm afraid to say it because I don't want to make people angry, but I wasn't searching for spoilers or anything. I was just looking to see how many more episodes we had. This was earlier in this week, and I saw something about Caleb in the description for the finale. So I think we're on the right track is what I'll say. If you want to check out for yourself, check out the How to Get Away with Murder Wikipedia, because I know some people, well, I'm afraid to say because I've said stuff like this before and people are like, oh my God, you gave a spoiler. Now, it's not really a spoiler. It's the description released by ABC for the finale. So if anyone doesn't want to hear it, tell me. So I'll wait. If you type that you're like, you really don't, I don't think it's, okay. So Andres doesn't want to see it or hear it. It's not huge, but it's just something I feel like that makes us feel like we're on the right track here. That's all I'll say. You guys go look it up. Definitely. It's not big at all, but I feel like if I say it, some people can interpret it a different way. Julian, hi, also thinks that Oliver is behind all of this. Guys who want to know, just because I know people watch this after this airs live and people will freak, but it's the How to Get Away with Murder Wikipedia, and you're looking at the show description. So the description for the finale, not a huge clue or anything, because they're not going to, I mean, this is from ABC, so they're not going to flat out tell you, but it makes, something must happen in next week's episode, which leads into that, dealing with Caleb. Anyway, just Google How to Get Away with Murder, Wikipedia season 2. Gokai wonders what if Oliver is the one secretly helping Philip? He might die. Oliver is someone who I feel like is a disposable character as much as we like him. I feel like he is someone who could die. His life was threatened in the first half of season 2. In that scene with Philip, we thought that Philip was going to kill him. Of course, there you saw that Philip was not the crazed killer that we had thought at that time. Doesn't mean he's not a killer. That could be kind of foreshadowing a death of Oliver at the end of this season. Diana, we are live. Yes, we are live right now. Quickly basically, Andres, Quantico is about people who are training to be FBI agents. But while they're doing this, or right after they finish their training, someone has there's a terrorist attack in I think New York, yeah, in the U.S. And one of them is behind it, and you have to figure out who. One of the recruits, I guess, the FBI agent recruits, who we really get to know and come to like a lot of them. So it's very, very hard to figure out who it could be. Excuse me. So I love that kind of show because you're trying to figure out who is the villain, who is the bad guy, and a lot of people have things that make them suspicious. So quickly, one more note about Quantico. It starts on Sunday, which is the second half of season 1. So there were just a few episodes for season 1. If you are in the US, you can watch them for free on the ABC app. If you're out of the US, you might be able to get them on Netflix or other sites for free. I'm not really sure. But I'm definitely going to be doing videos on those, and I'm going to try the live chat thing. So we're going to have one Monday at 6 p.m. If we get more than 10 people and it's an interactive chat, we'll keep doing them. I've tried it once before. One time I did it on Fear the Walking Dead, and like one person showed up, so we didn't do any more. I just never know when it's a new show to me, because it's crazy. If there's 2 people here, we can't do this for like an hour or 30 minutes. It's like there's not enough stuff to talk about. So anyway, if you do watch Quantico, if you want to catch up with it over the weekend, I'll have a live chat 6 p.m. on Monday Eastern time. Hi, Court. Thank you so much for being here. So Mark thinks that Nate could be Wes's father. There's definitely a reason why his father hasn't shown up by now. So definitely think that that is going to be an important part of the show. Like you said, who is Wes's father? They haven't addressed it. They may spend more time on that next season. I don't think it's going to be addressed this season. I could be wrong. Again, we have 2 more episodes. That's something they could expand on next season, but it would be, I think it's interesting to know, unless it doesn't matter, but I feel like it does matter. Gokai felt so bad for Wes's mom, and Wes, the ending was traumatic. Absolutely. You kind of have an idea, even though he's forgotten most of it, of what that would do to a child and how that would shape the rest of your life if you walked in and saw your parent dying on the floor and something they had done to themselves. Now he has kind of blocked out the memory. Still deep down, I think it's probably had a really bad effect on him. And then he's had kind of crazy stuff happen to him the rest of his life. Of course, he was an orphan at that point. So he's had a really hard life. Vanessa's saying it was so strange that Bonnie was spying on Frank and Laurel. Hi, Vanessa. I don't know if you're just now getting here. We talked about that just a little bit earlier, but yeah, there's something definitely up with her. She's a strange person, and I don't trust her. So Ben cannot find what I was talking about on Wikipedia. Now, the other thing I'll say about Wikipedia, I think that they put the official ABC explanation for the, for the episodes. But considering anyone could edit them, it could totally be fake and not true. So I don't know. I don't even know. I don't want to say something that's not even real. So Tony says, so was the big secret that Annalise didn't call for help? That's why she didn't tell him? I don't know. That's a good question. I think even though she told him, even if she had told him, not told him, but even if she had called for help, I don't think his mom would have lived. I don't think they would have gotten there soon enough. But we don't know all the pieces to that story. I think I can just tell you guys, and I don't even know if it's true. I don't think it's that big of a spoiler, and it could be made up. But basically, it said that Caleb is missing. He's run away. Now, when I hear that, I think of, what do you guys think of? Why would someone run away? Okay. I'm really sorry if I've offended anyone by saying that. But again, I guess it was on Wikipedia. Now it's gone. Could have been someone who edited it and shouldn't have. So it's not even true. You know how that goes. There's spoilers out there and stuff that never means anything about a show and never comes true. So Gokai loves how this show always delivers. Absolutely. That's what I love about it, because there's just really never a bad episode. Again, I believe, before even looking at that Wikipedia, that Caleb is our main villain. It just makes more sense to me than Philip, but we will see. King thinks that Philip is connected to the Mahonies. Yeah, it's not really a spoiler, okay? It's not that big of a deal. So, again, apparently it's not even on the site anymore, so someone could have just put that on there, and it's not true. I have no idea. Andres, it wasn't even that. wasn't even that big. Really not that big. I just feel bad sometimes about those kind of things because some people get really upset. Mark guesses that Caleb is a red herring. He was probably kidnapped by whoever sent the video to put suspicion on him. Same happened with Catherine. Well, if we want to think that, here's my other thought that I had. All right. So basically, we have to assume that since Rose was not able to testify because she killed herself, that the man she worked for, his son, definitely probably went to prison for that crime. Maybe still there. I don't know. It's only been 10 years. So has anyone thought about his father coming back for revenge? Coming back to look for Wes, to bother to get revenge on Annalise? What do you guys think about that? Could his father be our villain? That's just my thought, because you saw what he was saying in last night's episode, how upset he was going to be if his son was sent to prison. Their only hope was Rose. She kills herself. She can't, testify. His son goes to jail, is in jail for a while. So could he be our villain? King thinks that Philip wanted to kill Wes. I still don't think that he's that kind of person, but I don't know. If we had the father if we had Rose's boss being our villain, then that would connect two big storylines. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I do think that it was very wrong that Bonnie killed Rebecca, Andres. As much as Rebecca was an annoying character, she definitely didn't deserve to die. And that part of the show really upset me when she was like begging for her life, basically. Ben thinks it's quite weird that Eve was in ICE, the immigration department. That's what I wanted to ask you guys. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Was she actually in ICE, or was she pretending to be ICE? Because we know that Annalise set all that up as far as trying to convince Rose she was going to be deported. Andy loved the Annalise and Eve drama. So we have that part of the story where Annalise is trying to tell her that she's not really a lesbian. That was just kind of a time in her life where she wanted someone to love her. So she got into this relationship with Eve. We know that's not really true because in present day, they kind of hooked up again. So I think maybe Annalise is bisexual, but she tried to deny that she was ever, she didn't really like women and all that. So Sarah says it was a major injury to her throat. So maybe she didn't want to get involved much in the murder. Yeah, I'm not really sure. So Tony says last night had key points to how they're going to get away with the murders, especially with the return of Philip. Yes. So Andy says that Eve she's not an immigration lawyer, not with ICE. She's an appeals expert. So again, that's what I thought. She pretended to be part of ICE because Annalise wanted to scare Rose into thinking if she didn't testify, she was going to get deported. Andres, I've never seen the show. Is it Sense8? I've never seen that. Never even heard of it. Do I think Eve will get killed? Asked Okai. I'm not feeling that, but you just never know. Unless Wes is upset with her or whatever. I don't really know, for this season at least, who would have the motivation to want to kill her. Who would have who is so upset with her? I know Wes might be a little bit upset because she lied about her job, but I don't know. What channel is this show on? Sense8? Is that what it's called? I've never even heard of it. And I know there's like so many like shows coming out now or that just came out. And I feel overwhelmed. And I appreciate you guys giving me all these suggestions for new shows. And I really do want to watch a lot of them. But there's like so many. I just can't tackle all of them now. So this is a Netflix show. Okay, thank you so much. Because Quantico is coming back. So when Quantico does come back in a couple of days, I'll have Quantico How to Get Away with Murder and Pretty Little Liars for just a couple of weeks. I'll be doing all three of those. Scream, I think, is coming back next month. But as some of you have pointed out to me, they haven't promoted it at all. They haven't said anything about it on Twitter. Very confused. What's up with that? I don't know why they're not promoting it since we have probably a month at least, and that's not very long for it to come back. So who took care of Wes? He made mention that he was adopted. Of course, he changed his name. I don't know who those people are, but he did say something about another family. So Mark says there's barely any focus on Connor in these episodes. He could have sent the videos after all. He ran out of the house first. Annalise accused him in episode 12, and it could be an I told you so moment. I thought that it was an interesting moment, speaking of him, last night with Michaela, when he said he's trying to get into Stanford, and he was like, I probably won't get in, but he's very desperate to leave. And he's saying that he's desperate to leave because he doesn't feel safe living there anymore and being around Annalise and all that, which makes sense. But I think that's a good point, Mark. I mean, what if he is behind some of this stuff and he's trying to get away before anyone finds out? I would say that if he is blackmailing them, that's very bad for him, and he could be someone that they have to take care of and get rid of, because you don't play games with Annalise and Frank and Bonnie and all of them. So I just feel like hopefully he's not the one doing this or is involved in this, because that would be very, very bad for him. Andy loved the stuff with the immunity deal, but it doesn't apply to any more footage. Yes, so the district attorney said that they do have immunity for the videos sent prior to that meeting when Annalise met him. They have immunity for the night Sinclair was killed. But if more videos surface, they don't have immunity from those. Mark is wondering if Connor and Oliver are working together. Well, you know, that would be the twist of all twists, to be honest. Gokai thinks, thank you, Gokai. Thinks I would make a great actress. Thank you. I mean, hey, it would be fun, but honestly, they are so talented. I think acting is really hard, and I appreciate that, but my goodness. I would rather be on TV doing this kind of thing than like being an actress, because I feel that that would be so much pressure because those people are so good at that. Niece would love it if Connor and Oliver are secretly working together. I think it would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. And even more amazing if that happens and you guys predicted that here. That would be so good. Well, we got to give credit to Mark because he predicted it first. I would love that. Absolutely. I just think that would be so good. But that's something that we won't know till the last episode. So 2 weeks, we can wait. Gokai's wondering who will be killed eventually, or who will kill who. Frank kills Bonnie or Bonnie kills Frank. I'm not sure, but I definitely think as this show winds down, which could be a long time from now, because Shonda's shows go on forever. So possibility that when this show is getting near the end of the entire series, they'll start killing off the main people. I don't really see them killing off main characters, like a ton of them in the near future, you know, but I could be wrong. Just want to say, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate that. That would just mean everything to me. And that way, you know, when, here comes the cat again. That way, you know, when I have a new video or a new live chat or something like that, so you don't miss it, because you can sign up for those alerts. So I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And if it's your first time watching, because I know not everyone who watches comments, I just want to say, hey, thank you so much for being here. For some reason, my cat has been loving coming up here during live shows, because during my Pretty Little Liars show, he came up and then he came up again, but he left. So that is good. And that's why the table shakes and everything. My cat's name is Dexter, and Dexter is named after Dexter the show, because I was at one point obsessed with that show. Unfortunately, I got the cat like right after the show ended, but the ending for that entire series was terrible. If you watch Dexter, there were times when that show was amazing, but the series ending was absolutely dreadful. It pretty much destroyed the show, but that's another topic. I know Grace was also renewed. I have never watched that show. I can't believe it's been on for 13 seasons, Tony. That's some craziness right there. So sad. Yes, it is sad, as Gokai says. I'm like reading a comment and talking to you at the same time. Gokai says it's sad that my Pretty Little Liars chats have more viewers. Yes, we only have 18 people here, and I know some of you are also people who come to all of my chats, which is so cool. I just love that so much. But you know how it is. It's hard. If any of you have a YouTube channel, I've had mine, and I've been working on mine probably really hardcore for like a year. It's hard to get yourself out there. It's hard to get people to come to these shows or to watch your videos and to get known. So I'm trying, and I appreciate those of you who are always here and always support my channel and watch my videos. That's so awesome. As far as this show compared to Pretty Little Liars, I think that it's a more popular show, Pretty Little Liars, even with all the shenanigans they've pulled. I don't really understand, but I think this show is intimidating too. I think some of the people who watch my Pretty Little Liars chats might be like middle school age. I don't think How to Get Away with Murder is a middle school show. If you guys are in middle school, I'm not offending you. I'm just saying, for me personally, I feel like it's not really the best type of show for a preteen. I don't know. maybe you guys are in middle school, or some of you. But I think, you know, Pretty Little Liars appeals a little bit more to a little bit younger demographic. That's all I'm saying. And a lot of people who are really into online stuff are the viewers of Pretty Little Liars. How to Get Away with Murder is a lot more adult. So Andres would love to live in the How to Get Away with Murder universe and be the sixth Keating. That would be cool. Although, honestly, I don't think I want to have anything to do with Annalise in real life because, okay, I would probably end up committing a crime or be in jail or be dead or something eventually, to be honest. Would you guys want to work with her and like be part of the Keating family? Because I think it's just a terrible trap and it just couldn't go anywhere good. And I would be nervous all the time, and I don't want to commit a crime, and I don't want to be tied into her because she's a criminal, you know? So Mark has a good question. What do I think is going to happen to Annalise's baby? The promo teases that something is going to happen to it next week. So we know that it is a boy. First of all, we learned that in this episode. And, you know, like I said, I think something had happened with her when Rose was killing herself. She was grabbing her stomach and everything. It seemed like she was in pain. I don't really think she's going to have a miscarriage because she's talked about that a lot. She's had miscarriages, but on the other hand, perhaps the thing that happened, the suicide with watching Wes's mom kill herself, maybe put her into a situation where she freaked out and something happened to her baby because of all the stress. And maybe she's kind of always felt that Wes was like her kid because she never had her baby boy. Now, I don't know. Tony, thank you. I love Laurel. She's the greatest. If the actress gets bored with the show, maybe I could take over. Yeah, I know some of you guys maybe don't hear me answer your questions, but my cat's name is Dexter, named after the show Dexter. So what else do we need to talk about that we haven't talked about this show, this season, or last night's episode? Sarah says, isn't it refreshing having a smart show, especially after PLL's sunken ship? Absolutely. I know most of you guys watch Pretty Little Liars or used to watch it. So these two shows are night and day. And it's so sad because I used to get so excited that this show would promo like, hey, we're going to tell you who killed Rebecca, and they actually do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, because we can never count on that with a show like Pretty Little Liars. So Ben's got to go for a minute, but thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. So here's the thing, Tony. She did seem like she didn't want to have the baby. That's kind of what I thought. And then she went into this whole, you know, explanation to Eve saying she didn't want the baby and all this stuff. And then she told her she did want the baby. And so Eve was like, okay, I think you're ready. I think you're going to be a great mom. So I feel like this is what I'm thinking now. I feel like up to that point, she was ready to have the baby. She wasn't sure how she was going to be a mom, but she was ready and accepting that she was going to be one. But maybe when she had to see what could happen, like maybe she thought the thing that happened with Rose maybe would happen with her because she had such a crazy life and she didn't want to drag a child into that. And like maybe her child would have to deal with her death one day. Now, I don't know what that means. Obviously, she didn't have an abortion or anything. She was almost getting ready to deliver. So I agree with Brittany. I don't think she would be a good mom at all. She's never home. Her life is crazy. She would have had to totally change her life to accommodate a baby because, you know, the way she lives now is just, it's dangerous and reckless. She could put her child at risk for crazy people coming over, like kidnapping the kid or killing the kid. So it's just not a good situation. Brittany says that How to Get Away with Murder is everything that PLL wants to be but doesn't know how to be. Absolutely, Brittany. I think you said it really well. The only thing that Pretty Little Liars is decent at is the drama aspect. They just are terrible with the mystery aspect. And I don't think they even realize it. I think they think they're doing a good job, which is even more frightening. Sam would also be an awful father. Completely agree with you, Brittany. He was a terrible person who was always cheating on Annalise. He would be a bad father because usually the kids discover that you are cheating on mom, that you're not a good dad. Really bad situation. So Gokai says, right, I don't think that Rose is alive. Pretty sure she died there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure since we saw the elaborate suicide that there's really no way they can come back and say, Yeah, his mom is still alive. So thankfully, we are going to find out what happens next week with Annalise's baby. I did see her in the hospital look like she was either going to have the baby or perhaps she had it and it was dead when she had it, like a stillborn, or some kind of complication. There's only a couple of options here. Either she had it and it was stillborn, it died before she could have it because of, something, or she had it and gave it away. Those are pretty much only the options, unless she had it, gave it away, and it died. Hi, Ethan. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks for saying hello. I appreciate it. I know some people don't like to type and chat, but they're here all the time and we never hear from them. And that's totally fine, because to be honest, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and not live chats, but just regular videos. And I will watch the same person a million times and I've never once left a comment, just because I really don't know what to say, or I don't have anything to say. Like, I love it, but I don't have anything to offer. Maybe I should comment more, but that's just how some people are. You just like to watch and you don't want to comment, and that's totally fine. So, all right. So Tony says, I feel bad for Rose. There had to be another way out. I feel awful. That was such a terrible, terrible scene. Like I said, wow. Awful. So Mark is scared for the finale. I just know that they're going to end it on a huge cliffhanger. I'm going to die and then have to wait until October for a new season. Wow. And October sounds so far away, doesn't it? It sounds so far away. The thing that makes me so happy is that we will wrap up this Caleb, Catherine, Philip nonsense. I was going to say, I don't know what I was going to say. But anyway, yeah, shenanigans. We're going to wrap all that up so that we don't have to. I think that's enough for that. I think we need to be done with that. So Andy thinks that Wes's doctor will become important because she'll tell the DA. Doctors have no confidentiality when it comes to murder. So Wes was basically kind of telling her in an indirect way that he had done some really bad things. So that's interesting. The finale is in 2 weeks. It's on March 16th? 17th? 16th, I think. I think it's on March 17th. That's when it is. March 17th. It's on St. Patrick's Day. Gokai wonders what happened to Annalise's baby. We've just discussed that. We're not sure, but we'll find out next week. Ethan did not expect her to kill herself. Thought it would be Annalise. Yeah, that was pretty shocking. Definitely. Andres really wants to know Catherine and Philip's connection, and I think we'll absolutely learn that, but not until the finale. Not next week, but the next. So some of you think that the baby died, and some of you think she gave it away, but should be interesting. Yeah, I think Pretty Little Liars also has their finale that week on Tuesday. So they have their finale on the 15th. That's right. Oh, thank you so much, Tony. So Tony used to not comment, but he started watching all my videos, and I reply to everyone. Absolutely do, unless you leave like a hateful comment, which you guys never would. But sometimes that happens. And if it's really crazy, which I've had a couple of those because that happens on YouTube, then I just block the person, because like, why take your time to watch the video and leave me like a really rude comment? I never understood that. Sometimes I've watched a YouTube video of somebody random and I didn't really like it. I just click out of it. I don't like write, I hope you die, like somebody wrote to me one time. It's like, okay, you're blocked. Anyway, I laugh at it. It's no big deal. So Andy wants the Hapstall case to end, getting over it. I agree. We need to move on. Glad there's only 2 more weeks of that. Mark actually found me by searching PLL finale rant after 6A because you were so mad. That is crazy. So you really haven't been here that long, and I feel like you've been with me forever. That's really cool. I guess it's kind of interesting to find out how people find you. For me, when I have looking for new YouTube people, I usually just go by the YouTube suggestions. But the other thing I do is I watch like a lot of vloggers, and so a lot of times they all collab together because they all live in LA. So I start liking their friends based on their videos, and then I'll start following their friends. Because mostly who I watch are vloggers, like really the super popular people, especially people in LA, because I love LA and I love to see what they do in LA. That really makes me happy. Deja felt bad for Laurel when Wes told her he couldn't trust her anymore. Yeah. I mean, Wes has some definite issues, but the thing is, Laurel, I think, is a pretty good person, and she really is trying to help him, and he thinks now that he can't trust her. I think he feels like he can't really trust anyone because of all the stuff that happened with Rebecca and now with Annalise and his mom. And he just, I can get where he's coming from, Vanessa thinks that maybe Bonnie is behind the videos, which I think someone mentioned a little bit earlier. She's definitely a shady person. Don't really like her as a character, to be honest. So that's pretty cool that a lot of people found me because I hated the CC is A reveal, which is cool. Even more cool is that you guys are here for a totally different show, which I think is awesome because that kind of brought you to here. Very cool. Yeah, I really think, Kay, that Laurel just wants to help. I really think she's being genuine and she really wants to help him. Do I think the Mahoney storyline will be related to the Hapstall case? Niece, the only way that I can figure that out is yes, if perhaps the villain is the Mahoney guy, the father who was Rose's boss. Maybe he's coming back for revenge and doing some of this blackmailing stuff, which would then connect him to the Hapstall case and it not be Philip who's like the main villain. I don't know. Here's another thought. What if someone is telling Philip to break into Wes's apartment, to go after him, to do whatever, to search around? What if he's being blackmailed? How do you guys not know that? What if he thinks Annalise and her people are blackmailing him like they think he's blackmailing them? Who knows? Have you ever thought about that? Deja thinks it was kind of funny when Frank was checking out Eve in the flashback. Yeah, definitely. Why were Annalise and Wes being mean to Laurel? She just wanted to help. Well, I think Annalise was being mean to her because she doesn't want to give her all the information. She doesn't think she has a right to know. She was like, if Wes wants to know about his mom, then he should come and talk to me himself. But, she doesn't want to give that information to her because, it's not him. Well, do we have any more things? Because at this point, we're being a little repetitive about what we've talked about. And we have a few minutes left, but we could end it early if we don't have any new. Is there anything new we haven't discussed or anything about how this season will play out that we want to talk about? Because if not, we'll probably just end it here pretty soon just because I'm seeing a lot of the same questions and comments. If for some reason you joined late and maybe you didn't even know that your question has been answered, this will be up on my channel as soon as we end here, like 5 minutes after we end. This will be up on the channel so you can go back and watch any parts that you missed. And if you think of a comment or question that we didn't get to talk about here, leave it for me. I do reply to everyone, so I will come back later and reply to you. So Andres thinks that the thing that he loves most about How to Get Away with Murder is that the main characters are played by really great actors and actresses. I love them all. Absolutely, Andres. All very talented, all of them, I think, and some amazing performances in that show. And I feel like I know that Viola has won some awards, but I would really hope that some of the other people will win some awards as well, because especially the woman who plays Bonnie, Liza, as annoying as she is, she's killed it in some of her scenes, and she really deserves to have some recognition for that. Sarah said she started watching after she watched PLL Freaks because my channel came up as a related channel to the same topic. Awesome. Yeah, because I know they hated the finale with Cece as well. So Julian just remembers the scene of Oliver and Philip. Maybe Philip convinced Oliver to help him. Absolutely, because they really weren't on bad terms in that scene. So I'm crossing my fingers that we're going to have Oliver be our twist. How awesome will you guys think or feel if Oliver ends up being involved and we called it? That's all I will say. So Andy says it's a little exhausting trying to figure out what's going to be the twist. Absolutely. But usually with this show in particular, the twists are so good that we can't predict it. So sometimes I like to figure out all the different things I think could be the twist. And then I know, like, hey, they're going to go with something totally different. That's just how good the show is. I don't know what happened with Lila's case, Andres. That's a good question. As Ethan just said, the finale will have a twist that no one will see coming. Absolutely. At some point, we can't predict everything. They may throw in some stuff that we didn't even know, some information, a character or something, and who knows. So Mark thinks the finale will end with Catherine being freed from jail and Annalise being arrested and proven guilty. That's really interesting. I do think Catherine will get out of jail. I definitely do. I don't think she's like a huge villain. So we'll have to see. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here because I think we've pretty much talked about everything we could talk about with this episode. But if you think of something new, or like I said, you had to leave early, or you missed part of it, leave a comment when this goes on my channel as a video, and I will definitely answer your questions. Sometimes I think of something great to say, like as soon as we end here, so that happens totally. Tomorrow I'll have my video up on my channel about this episode with some more in-depth thoughts. So I would love for you to check that out tomorrow and subscribe if you haven't. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you tomorrow with my new video. Bye, guys.